Now to talk about some players that could be visiting some teams in the Big Ten. Let's start off with Aaron Scott from Ohio State. Aaron Scott from Ohio State is a highly coveted player. A lot of rumors out there about teams really coveting players coming out of Ohio State and how important they are to a lot of these teams. So we'll see what Aaron Scott, his value looks like to, I guess we won't see NIL wise or anything, but he does have a number of schools coming after him. We talked about him before, how a number of Big Ten schools wanted to go after him. Well, he's set two teams that he wants to go and visit. One of them so happens to be Oregon. The other one happens to be Tennessee. So we'll see how those two visits come out. Sounds like Oregon could be on Thursday. Tennessee might be on Friday. Never really know exactly how these things are going to go out. We're just getting out of the dead period right now. So Wednesday was the final day of the dead period. You could still talk to recruits. You could set up visits with them, or recruits. You could still talk to portal players and set up visits with them, but you just could not have them on a visit, or you could not meet with the player Monday through Wednesday during that dead period. So they could still commit. They could still do all that stuff. That you couldn't travel to see them and they couldn't travel to see you. There's a big coach convention going on. And so it would have been really unfair if some coaches wanted to go to the convention and other coaches wanted to, go out and get portal players and stuff like that. So Aaron Scott, good cornerback, good solid tackler for Ohio State this last year, played well against Wisconsin, gave up a number of catches against Illinois, but that's also a pretty good passing game they went up against there. And overall, he was a good player. He was a rotational player. He wasn't a starter or anything like that, but highly regarded recruit. He's going to do a good job wherever he goes. Not saying he's an instant day one starter or anything like that, but he was somebody that felt like he was going to have an opportunity to start this year at Ohio State. And Ohio State is going a little bit more portal heavy, so that's why he decided to leave, take his talents elsewhere. And I think Oregon has a very, very good shot at getting Aaron Scott here. They were in talks with him in his recruitment and everything, and so I think that there's a really good opportunity here for Oregon to pull Aaron Scott. Next one is Tionne Gray. I apologize if I'm saying that wrong, but Tionne Gray, I believe is how you pronounce it. He is coming in to Nebraska for a visit. He is from Oregon. Started a few games at the beginning of the season against Montana State, Oklahoma State, and Northwestern. Wasn't particularly great in a couple of those, but he did play pretty well against Northwestern, and he did have 20. He did have not 20. I apologize. He had one pressure on the season. He got that one pressure against James Madison, but he did do a pretty good job in run defense. So more of a run defender than a pass rusher type of deal. But he's a good big size body in there, 6'6", 36. 6'6", 336 pounds, really good run stopper on the interior of that defensive line. Could be a really good piece for whatever team he decides to go to. And Nebraska seems like a team that he would fit very, very well at. So we'll see if Nebraska can lock it up here with Gray. I think this would be a fantastic addition to help stop the run and kind of plug up the middle there for Nebraska, especially with a new defensive coordinator and everything like that coming in. All right, next one, Jayvon Parker and Armon Parker from Washington. Now, these are two defensive linemen there at Washington, and both the Twins are going to be visiting multiple Big Ten schools. They're going to be making their way to Wisconsin, who is in a lot of need for some defensive line help, and then they're also going to be heading over to Illinois, who is another Big Ten team that needs a lot of defensive line help. That's not the only place they're going, though. They're also planning to go to Auburn and Arkansas as well. A couple of SEC schools there. So they didn't play a ton at Washington this past year. Jayvon, I think, only got in one game. I think he got a few snaps against Michigan. And then Armon, he was the one that really got more of the snaps and more of the snaps and kind of, playing time there for Washington. So we'll see how this one goes overall. I think this could be a good pickup for either Illinois or Wisconsin. As somebody who covers Illinois, I would be excited for the Illinois team to get two guys like this, both over 300 pounds, Armon 315 pounds, Jayvon 320 pounds, both 6'3", twin brothers, all that stuff. And so you would think that these two guys are going to go, forgot to change the picture there. Sorry about that. You would think these two guys are going to go to the same school together, twins, all that stuff. That's typically how these things work out. But you just never know. We'll see how it plays out. I think they have the intention of going to the same place together. They're going to be taking their visits together and all that stuff. So we'll see how it works out, but very interesting to follow Jayvon and Armon and where they're going to go moving forward. All right, next one. Man, this is our third time talking about Liam here. Liam Dennett here. He is coming in from Hope College. He is an edge. He took a visit to UCLA. Actually predicted him to go to UCLA. That may not happen. I was thinking he may have, he may have committed during the dead period. Looks like he's going to be going to Wisconsin as well. So interesting opportunity here for Liam. He is a speedy edge rusher type of guy. He did very well at the D3 level at Hope College. So it is the D3 level, but at a certain point, you can see the speed, you can see the measurables, and Liam is definitely a guy who has the speed, has the measurables. He has pretty nice bend. I think he's going to translate pretty well to Big Ten football. Do I think he's going to lead the nation or lead the conference in sacks or anything like that? No, I'm not going to put that on him or anything, but I definitely think he could come in and be a good pass rush specialist. Really work on him and stuff. You might be able to get him to be kind of a full-time edge, kind of in there for you all the time type of guy. But we'll see how it plays out. I think Liam's a good player, and I think that he is going to do a good job wherever he winds up, whether it's UCLA, whether it's Wisconsin. Still think UCLA has a shot here, but UCLA has also done a good job of bringing in a lot of defensive line help, and Liam might have a quicker way to the field, especially with only 1 year of eligibility left, as he does need to get that waiver to be passed through with the NCAA. Final one here, we have Darryll and Mandrell. I apologize. Darryll and Mandrell Desir. Now, Darryll and Mandrell are another set of twins who play on the defensive line. They played for Florida State last season, and Ohio State is planning. There's no visit set up yet, but Ohio State is apparently planning to get these two on a visit. Now, both of these guys were exceptional freshmen this year. Darryll, less so. He only had 1 sack on the year, but Mandrell, he had 6.5 sacks on the season. Darryll still had 20 pressures on the quarterback. Mandrell had 24. So, when you have similar amount of pressures like that, sometimes it's not so much about, he was better at getting to the QB than the other one. Sometimes it's just about the timing of when that happens. So, but obviously they both played a similar amount. I mean, it wasn't like Mandrell was this exceptionally better guy than Darryll or anything like that. And they both had the same, Darryll actually had the higher PFF grade. He had a 66.4 PFF grade on the season for Florida State. So this is an interesting situation. One of the reasons why I say Ohio State is planning on getting them on a visit is they wanted to go into the portal early on. I think January 4th, they made their intentions known. They did not actually enter into the portal until today, or today was the day when everything started to heat up for that to happen. And it's kind of been a weird situation with Florida State. The agent there sounds like he's really doing everything he can to try and get as much money as he possibly can for his two guys, which, you're the agent. That's what you're supposed to do. Florida State apparently has acquiesced to their demands a number of times to kind of keep them involved. And it sounds like this last time when he came to them and said, look, we need some more money. It sounds like, Florida State may have said, kick rocks, buddy. They were good this season, but we're not going to pay them, the two highest paid guys on our team or anything like that. We do need to have other players and stuff. So that's kind of my biggest reservation with Ohio State. Ohio State doesn't typically go after guys like this that are kind of that much into the financial stuff. Not that they don't have enough money for it. I think there's a lot of Ohio State fans that assume they're just broke and don't have money, which is kind of funny to me. But it's a culture thing. I think with Ryan Day, I don't think he ever wants to be the team that's offering the most money. And a lot of times in this portal stuff, you're not offering the most money. It's not a great situation for you to be able to get the guys. So we'll see if the Desir twins here can maybe have something different happen. But those are, that's 7 different guys possibly visiting, for sure visiting at least a few schools, but possibly visiting 5 different schools in the Big Ten. We'll see how it works out for them. And let me know in the comments what you think about these guys. You think Wisconsin has a good shot at Liam or Jayvon or Armon? What's your thoughts what's your thoughts on Aaron Scott, Oregon, Tionne Gray to Nebraska? What's your thoughts there? Would love to hear what everybody is thinking in the comment section below.